Hey guys, this is Dana from Pop Goulash. I wanted to make sure that you knew how to reach us. Find us on Facebook under Pop Goulash. You can also find us on Twitter at Pop Goulash. We also have a phone number, and we definitely want you guys to give us a call with your thoughts, opinions, whatever, show ideas. That phone number is 224-325-4235. And you can also shoot us an email at popgoulash42@gmail.com. Thanks for tuning in.
Strap on those ear goggles, bitches. It's time for some Pop Goulash. I'm Ruben, and Dana is not here. She's actually studying her little took us off because she wants to be a nurse and better than everybody. But sitting across the table from me here in the Hoodcave is a young man that I've known ever since he was practically a zygote. Which isn't exactly accurate, but it feels that way. He is the Troubadour of Texas. Not really, but that's what I'm gonna dub him that. But I've watched this young man grow into one hell of an artist. Sitting across from me is the one, the only Charlie J. Memphis. What's going on, Charlie?
Not much. How about you, crazy Uncle Ruben?
I'm doing great, man, and that's an accurate description.
Basically.
But no, I've known Charlie since he was a wee lad. He was about 8 years old or so, and now he's 16, and I feel old. So, but no, Charlie is a singer-songwriter. He's an incredible guitar player, an amazing bass player to boot, and this kid's got pipes on him, as you'll hear later on. That I stop, okay. I like
can do.
Seriously, I it's one of those where, you know, when you hear somebody that just has an amazing talent and they're younger than you and you just want to rip out their vocal cords because, you know, you're never going to be that talented no matter how hard you try. But dude, you've got it.
Thank you.
And so yeah, you've really started coming into your own with your songwriting and whatnot. So that's I'm stoked for you, man.
Thanks.
So let's take it back to the start. How did you get into what musically? Like, how was your first what was your first real introduction into being like, this might be something I want to do?
I think I was 11. I'm probably wrong. I never really think about this too much, but I was 11. I was doing.
Well, you're going to be doing a lot of interviews, son. So you better start thinking about this kind of stuff.
I gotta think about this stuff. But I was 11, if I'm correct. Was doing a school rock show. Do you know School Rock?
The School of Rock, like with Jack Black and Miranda Cosgrove?
That'd be great, but no. But School Rock in Naperville, they had a punk show going on, and Mom and Dad decided to enroll me because before that I did classical guitar, and I thought it was boring. I was bored of it, so then I got into that, and I played at Lincoln Hall, if I'm correct. And
it's a nice venue, man.
Oh yeah, it's a great place, and I played a few songs from The Clash, Offspring, Misfits, Smoking Popes, I think.
I'm sorry. For the Smoking Popes, the rest of them are pretty dope. I'm just not a Smoking Popes fan.
Yeah, it was one of those songs. I'd listen to them now, and
they sound like Morrissey, and everybody knows how I feel about Morrissey. I love Morrissey when it gets shut off. Quiet from the Peanut Gallery.
But anyhow, I remember once I was done with that, I was really excited. It's kind of like the post-show, kind of like, oh yeah, this is great. And kind of realized with my dad that, well, I told my parents, or I guess it was just my dad, that this is what I wanted to do. I was kind of like, this is cool. I actually found something that sticks, because before that I was kind of just doing whatever. I was doing lacrosse, I was doing soccer, and just art and whatnot. But
it's a little harder to express yourself in, and I'm not taking anything away from people who are into sports and do sports. He's fine, Dad. I'm behind the boards, okay? You can call me Mario. He's fine. But yeah, it's, people can find their expression in sports. I'm sure that it happens, but there's that little flame when you get into the arts a bit, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It just seems a bit more expressive in a way, I guess.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, you can get a touchdown, but can you write a song about it? I'd like to see a sports ball guy do something like that.
It'd probably be auto-tuned, like excessively.
Dude, amen, brother. Where was I? I was in a grocery store or something, and they were playing some god awful song, and I'm like, is the singer, rapper, talky guy, is he drowning? Because the way that the auto-tune was like,
oh yeah,
it's awful. It was the worst thing I've ever heard in my life.
I can't remember. Not my cousin. I forget. Rich. He does music. He kind of. I did some music with him. He auto-tuned it. It was so weird. It's just the fact is, if you're like half a key off and then you put you in like a C or an A, it's weird. I don't like it.
No, well, it sounds artificial.
Yes, exactly. That's why I don't.
Yeah,
it's just not right.
And then Courtney Love tries to write it off as like, oh, it's what did she call it? Like pitch fixing. I'm like, no, it's called You Can't Sing, Courtney. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
So,
but then yet everybody uses it and gets away in the music business.
Yeah, I don't know how that's like. I don't know how it became popular. Like I remember, like back in the day with bands like, I don't know, like Kraftwerk and stuff. They would use it, and it was called a vocoder back in the day, and so it would make you sound like a robot, and it was kind of cool, like in techno kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But now it's I don't know who was it. T-Pain? I think it was T-Pain that made it like super popular in hip hop. It's the worst. It's the worst.
Yeah, it's.
So, all right, sorry, I digress.
Oh.
So, you were you got involved with School of Rock. How long were you doing that for?
I think 3 years. 3 years, I'm correct. Solid 3 years.
3 years, right on. And then you guys made a relocation, yeah?
Yeah, about 2 years, if I'm correct. And after that, well, for like half a year, I kind of didn't do music. Sort of depressed in a way. Not goth, thank God, but I'm just just depressed in the fact it's just moving because I've been in Illinois for most of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like moving away kind of just... It changed a few things. Not, musically, because I don't play punk like I used to. I do this sort of singer-songwriter
stuff.
Yeah. But, yeah, I guess that answers it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're cool, man. It's fine. So you relocated down to Texas. Now, did you get in line with any other musicians down there, or did you continue with... Because School of Rock is national, yeah?
Yeah, it's nationally. If I'm correct, there might be a few places where they don't have it, but it's... I got connected with other kids, but then it didn't feel exactly the same because there's other School of Rocks, and I kind of got into that a little bit later on with Southlake at first, and then did Flower Mound, and just it didn't feel the same. It felt like no one was really gave a crap.
Right.
Everybody seemed taking advantage. Oh, my parents are paying $300 for it. I'm gonna go slack off and treat this as if it's high school.
Ew.
And that was just kind of like, it wasn't in Naperville. There's a bit of a group that seemed like they really cared about it. It was like, this is their shit. We're going to actually give a shit. And we love music.
Right.
And so that was kind of like, I was in that group for a while. And that's how I grew up with like kids that really cared about this. This is what they're going to do for the rest of their lives. And
yeah, because you were playing in a band here for a minute.
Yeah.
Stellar, correct?
Stellar, yeah. It's the band Stellar, but now it's Stellar West. I don't really know what that... Don't ask me. I wasn't part of it.
Right.
I don't agree with it, but it's not my band now. They can do what they want to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because your drummer was very young, man. I recall that. Like, that kid could hit the skins, and he was, like, 4.5 years old. Like, dude was, like, tiny, man.
Right now, I think... He was 10, and he was just... He's a small kid, so you would think he's 5, but then he's really 10. And so he would hit the drums really hard, and he was like such a talented kid, and it's just, I don't know. There's nothing else I can really say. It's just except I could tell like when we met, I was like, man, this kid's good.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could tell he was kind of like, I don't know if this is a good way to say it, but it's like Dave Grohl in the younger years. I'm reading like a book called "This Is the Call." It's about Dave Grohl's past life and such, and everybody's saying this kid's got it. It was kind of like the same thing here, whereas, man, this kid, there's something. Well, he's just really good, unlike many of the other kids his age.
Right. Yeah. The kid's a hell of a drummer, man. Especially for being as young as he is. Like I watched him and I'm just like wanting to rip your vocal cords out now. I wanted to break his arms because I'm like, you shouldn't be that young and that good. Like there's just
he's just one of the, he's just good.
No, he's just got that born talent.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, the kid's phenomenal.
What's great is like I've known a ton of people with born talents, and they're like, like my sister. Don't mean to like diss her or anything, but like
I'm gonna send this to her just so she can hear it.
You know, go ahead. She'll probably yell at me and give me like really mad faces and whatnot, but that's my mother and sister who deal with it. But but anyhow, she's got a natural born gift, and she's actually better than me. But then she's kind of like, I don't have a love for it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a friend of mine that I knew that he was a really good musician. He was great at math or whatever, but he told me he never found a love for it. It was kind of like, yeah, I can play, but
Right.
But like, it was great for him. He's not kind of like, I'm natural at it. I'm gonna go pursue something else. He was like, yes, this is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow,
right on. So, who would you say? And I'm just doing the typical rock interview today.
Yeah.
But what would you say, like right now in your you said you started off with more punk rock, kind of more the rock edge.
Yeah.
And really, that's not the style that you're really following now. Who would you say are your main influences now? And that it doesn't mean that like a rock artist can't influence how you're writing these days. But what would you say? Like, how would you say that who would you say is mostly influencing you these days?
Man, because like that's hard. Because I listen to so many people, and it's always a various arts and very weird artists. Not people. If you ask them, do you know who this guy is?
Trust us, our audience is pretty eclectic, so you'd be surprised as to who they do and do not know. So,
like one of them, I would say is the Builders and the Butchers. I told them about.
Yeah. You told me about those guys last week and a half ago or so. I just
so.
have not had an opportunity to take a listen to them.
Yeah,
yet.
they're really cool guys. Because when I write songs, a lot of them are really darker because I'm into the Southern Gothic sort of stuff. It's just it's entertaining to me because I'm into horror. I write short horror stories and whatnot, and it's just that it's my sort of thing. And they do really well at just writing dark stories, and I find that's really cool. But they don't do the Bob Dylan thing where it's 6 minutes long, or he doesn't do the really weird voice.
Well, you know where Bob Dylan got that voice from?
Oh yeah, he got that from crap. I forget his name now. And
Woody Guthrie.
Woody Guthrie, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
And Woody.
Post-stroke, yeah.
Yeah, post-stroke. Yeah, because Woody didn't sing like that prior to having a stroke.
But Bob Dylan thought that was his regular voice.
He's like, wow, that sounds really cool. So then all of a sudden he started sounding like this, man. And then for some reason, Tom Petty thought that was good too.
Oh, yeah.
But, I don't know.
Woody was like, dude.
But then, like, in a way, when the Builders and the Butchers, they do music, like their second album, Salvation is a Deep Dark Well on that vinyl is great, but they kind of like they have a way of like mixing a crap load of sound all at once, but then it sounds right.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it's just loud without it being punk, and I like that a lot. And then they're not mainstream, so that kind of gives it. Oh, you like Nirvana? Yeah, I like Nirvana, and then a whole nother 30 go along, whole nother 100 million say yeah, I like Nirvana, but only know 2 songs.
Right.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's all good. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Or
I think
really
it goes on to like Lincoln Durham, Vandaliers. Vandaliers, I met them at Good Records.
Mm-hmm.
You might have seen that post where I saw Jimbo Wallace, Reverend Horn and Heat, and then they were really cool. Like when I saw them live, it was kind of like, oh wow, it's really cool. It's really cool because they mix punk because I forget his name, Joshua Flemings. He originally did punk music, and then he kind of. How he told me was that he found his dad's old records, like country records, and he kind of like somehow mixed the two, the country and then the punk, and made what Rolling Stone calls cowpunk. And it's pretty cool. Like that stuff. It's kind of showing me how I can mix my roots and then what I do now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm still experimenting with, of course, but then it's kind of like eye opener how you can really mix things.
Right.
It doesn't have to be country, punk, or it doesn't have to be such defined lines. It can kind of mix and mingle and whatnot.
Right. That's cool. Very cool. So we're let's see here. What have you been listening to lately?
Well, again,
as we say here, or now here, how about this? I'm going to ask you the Pop Goulash question. What have you been consuming recently? So that could entail anything media-wise, music, movies, comic books, books.
Well, I'll start with the music since we already started with that.
Sure.
Again, Vandaliers, The Builders and the Butchers, then Run by Foo Fighters because that was amazing. When that came out, I kind of freaked out a bit.
I was surprised to see that they just drop a single like that out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's kind of like their Saint Cecilia. No one knew that was happening. All of a sudden, hey guys, EP.
Dude, that Saint Cecilia is excellent.
Oh, yeah.
Iron Rooster is my favorite track on that.
Oh yeah, Sean's my favorite one.
Sean's pretty cool. Sean reminds me of a Police song.
Which one?
No, it just reminds me of a song that maybe the Police would have written.
Yeah,
it's
definitely...
totally like, I would say Outlandos, D'Amour, or maybe even like, yeah, that's the first album. Yeah, definitely first album, Police. It definitely reminds me of that. So, like, for me, I'm still having a hard time with Run.
You are?
Yeah. Yeah, and I was talking to my buddy Eli about it last night on the way to the Tool show, which was amazing. Dude, it was ridiculous.
Was that as good as Wrigley Field at the Foo Fighters show?
You know what? It's hard to compare. It's like comparing apples to oranges. I mean, they were two totally different styles of music, and
I thought I might as well ask.
Yeah, no. It's worth asking. I mean, seriously, you can't compare a Tool show to anything. Like, it's like comparing Fish to Elton John. It just, like, you can't, you know. But Run, to me, and I've listened to it about 4 or 5 times, because you know as well as I do that I'm a huge Foo Fighters fan.
Oh, yeah. I've easily listened to that song once every day, if not once every other day, because it gets stuck in my head so quickly. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, there's something with it I find so epic, especially when you watch the music video.
Yeah, the music video is hilarious.
Oh, yeah, this is amazing. It's just seeing old quote-unquote, old people mosh is just it's like, it's just great.
Right. But for me, it's like, and I know Jesse Wheeler's going to be out there. He's one of our regular listeners, and he's going to be screaming at his stereo when I say this. But for me, it just seems like Run is a song that doesn't know what it wants to be.
I can see that, yeah.
Like, the Foo Fighters have been known and are really, really good for, you know, the loud, soft, loud. Their dynamic is what makes them a fantastic band. But it just seems like, and I know that I was reading somewhere that they wanted to have some new music to play on this tour, so they kind of threw some stuff together to say. But it just seems like, you know, they got that weird ballady thing in the beginning, and then,
which I think really plays out with the music video, how they're just all the people are just sitting there watching it.
No, absolutely, I get that, and it really does lend well to the video. But then next thing you know, it's got this really awful, like, it almost sounds poorly produced, like Metallica, Saint Anger era, like guitar riff that just kind of, it's jarring. And and then it goes into,
I didn't think about that, but I see what you mean now.
Yeah, and then next thing you know, like he's got the distortion on the vocals like he does in Weenie Beanie and in White Limo.
Yeah,
and then
which is epic song.
Yeah, absolutely. And then next thing you know, it's got your typical like arena Foo Fighters chorus, and then it goes back into the Weenie Beanie thing. Yeah. And it just seems like they just had like Dave was like, well, I got a couple sections here, a couple sections there.
Let's just sew them together.
F it, let's make a song, you know? And I don't know, I'm like, I just, if they come out with an album, like, because they've not really mentioned anything about a new album coming out.
But then that's like if they come out with a new album, probably a smart idea if they just like, hey, here's a new album.
Right. And I would like to see how it plays out within the context of an album.
Oh, yeah.
Because that might make a hell of a lot more sense. But right now, I just listen to it and I'm like, what are they? It's like they just took a bunch of Play-Doh and mashed it together and like, here you go.
Yeah.
It's like 15 different colors, and we didn't really blend the colors together well, but here you go.
But it's together.
Yeah, it's yours. Here, take it now. But yeah, and this is the very first time ever that the Foo Fighters have put something out that I've just been like, the only other song of theirs that I'm like that with is the song "Hell" off of "In Your Honor."
I'm not sure. I've listened to all their albums constantly, but I haven't listened to this. I'm not sure. I can't remember that song.
Exactly. It's very immemorable. If I'm not mistaken, I think they may have released it as a single.
Really?
I think. I could be wrong, and I'm sure the internet will point it out if I am. But I think they may have released it as a single, but it's like, I see you in hell. I'm like, oh, really, Dave? Come on, man. Like, you're way
now
more...
I remember that song. Now that
yeah.
you're saying, yeah.
And it's like, dude, you're way more creative than that.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Then when you think about it, there's got to be some crappy song here and there. It's got to be somewhere.
It's also on a double album, and
exactly.
I've got my double album thing where it's just too much music, and especially for the In Your Honor album, like, they had the rock album and then the more mellow acoustic-y album, and it just threw off the entire Foo Fighters vibe. Because if you listen, you listen to any Foo Fighters record, and they've got like 3 good rock songs, and then it kind of ballads out for a minute and kind of slows down, and then
then you get straight back into it.
Yeah, but like there's an ebb and flow to their albums, and that album was just not that at all. Like,
I would have to say that's like one of my least favorite. Like, of course, it's a Foo Fighters. I don't say, oh, this sucks, but I at least say that, hey, they made an album. That's good. They didn't just stop and after the album say, oh, this wasn't our best, whatever. But yeah, I can completely agree with you on that.
So Run, like I said, maybe I need to give it a few more listens. Maybe listen to it within the hopefully the album, if there is an album and it comes out, hopefully like within the context of that, it'll be better. But yeah, right now I'm just like, I don't know about this song, man.
It's just, I guess it's got to be one of those things where you just wait and see what happens. Either they come with an album or it's just like, hey, here's a single. Like Jack White did Battle Cry. Did you listen to that?
I don't think so, no.
He came out with like a Battle Cry, and it was like, came out randomly like the day of. I checked my computer. I was like, oh, I'm going to look through Spotify, see what's new. And it's just like, Jack White came out with something. What? Like, like it came out of nowhere. It was kind of like the same thing as the Saint Cecilia or Run. It was kind of like came out of nowhere. And it was kind of like, I listened to it. It's not bad. It's less lyrically, and Battle Cry, it's kind of just a lot more guitar riffs and less vocally, but it was pretty cool.
Nice. So was it more, would you say it would be more White Stripesy, or was it more like kind of the Lazaretto stuff that he did?
I want to say it's somewhat of a mix. It's kind of like, it's mainly guitar riff, but then there's a lot of like the Native American kind of like chanting in a way.
Really? That sounds interesting.
It's you wouldn't expect that, because when I first saw Battle Cry, I was like, that's kind of weird, because then immediately I thought of all these different other songs that kind of like, they have a lot of just kind of like, they're not really words, you're just kind of like saying, oh, or like, it's that sort of thing, like either humming it. I first thought of that because my sister listens to a lot of songs I don't agree with. And they have
songs or sounds? She's like, she listens to a lot of breathing CDs. I don't know what that's all about, but it's...
Yeah, but it's just like, at first I thought of that because my sister, she's like, oh, if she's in the front seat, you always get the dibs on what...
On the stereo.
Yeah, and she puts on her music, and there's a lot of that. And so when I first read Battle Cry, I was like, okay, we'll see how it goes. And then I listened to it. First time I was like, I don't know how I feel about it. And because it was... Usually when I think of Jack White, I think there's some sort of... not story, but there's a bass line between what the lyrics are, and then there's a really cool guitar riff. And it was mainly just more guitar riff and just chanting, which sometimes turns me off on songs, because it's like, feels like they didn't put so much creativity. It's like, let's just throw in chanting.
Right. Well, it's kind of like back in my day, Billy, when I was your age, there was a band that we used to listen to. But no, there was a band called Better Than Ezra, and they put out a song called Good. And in the middle of the song, in the middle of the chorus, the guy's like, it's uh-oh, and it's good. And it was a placeholder, because the guy could not think of something to put in that spot. So as they were recording the song, he couldn't think of a lyric, so he just put "uh-oh" in the middle of the chorus, and the producer, I guess, was like, "It works." So they like kept it in the song. So that was the chorus of the song. I was like, all right, that's kind of cool. Maybe it was one of those kind of things.
That kind of reminds me of like you. Have you ever listened to Eagles of Death Metal?
Dude, I love the Eagles of
Oh,
Death
I do
Metal.
too. I sadly didn't see them in Dallas. That's like they play in Dallas at House of Blues. My dad, I was like, "Dad, let's go." And he's like, My dad's not a big Eagles of Death Metal fan.
Dude, their first album was absolutely...
yes.
Peace, Love, and Death Metal was amazing.
It was amazing.
The subsequent albums after that, what was it? Hard On and...
the Zipper Down?
Yeah. They just kind of like... The songs have just kind of like gone down a bit.
Like Zipper Down, there's some good songs in there. I like Complexity. I like that song a lot. But
that first album was so damn good.
Oh yeah. That was just like, I listened to it. It's fast, but it's not like punk fast where it's just like noise and let's be as loud as we can, as fast as we can. But it kind of like kept its... I can't explain it. But
it kept its pace.
Yeah, it kept its pace with being fast, but not... Let's be as fast as we can. Yeah,
right.
It's like
Well,
what's that one band? But...
The cool thing about that record was that Jesse Hughes, the singer, and he did it with Joshua Homme from Queens of the Stone Age. He plays drums on that record, and
which I didn't know. I didn't know that till much later. I was like, wait, he's playing the drums?
That's how I got into them. Was because I knew I'm a huge Queens fan.
Oh yeah,
and he played drums on all of their albums. He doesn't necessarily tour with them.
So the terrorist attack, the French one where he wasn't part of that. But anyhow,
right. But yeah, so he doesn't really tour with them. He'll do shows here and there, but he doesn't really tour with them that often.
Yeah.
But that's how I discovered him, and do that. And apparently, from what had happened was there's a documentary that was out on HBO recently called.
Was it? I think I might know what you're talking about. Was it on the
Jamais? It had like a French title, but
I remember.
Dude,
with the telly with the French colors on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Dude,
one.
it was excellent, and
it was good.
They kind of gave the history of the Eagles at that point
which
as well.
I really like because you look everywhere. You have to look through so many just interviews, and it's kind of like you make some. You're kind of trying to put pieces of the puzzle together. It's kind of like, I don't know which one's the correct,
Right, but I what I had enjoyed about it was it told about how Jesse was just kind of like the little wimpy kid that got bullied and beat
that was
up.
Kind of like great. You look at it as a wimpy kid, and then you look at him now, it's like, wow.
Yeah, and Josh would actually stick up for him and ended up becoming one of his best friends.
Which I thought was just really cool. It's just what I really like, which I want to do with like my friend, Elliot Dombrowski, part of the Magnifiers and such, which we've known each other for easily 4 or 5 years. Like ever the beginning of the punk show, we met up, and it was kind of like he's in the punk, he's still in the punk. It's kind of his thing, kind of like ska punk, and we've always been like the best of friends since then. Like to that punk show, like the performance, which first thing, 15 minutes, like first time we met, he thought I was a girl. And then most of like the first time we saw each other,
he thought you were a girl.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
And the first time I met, I was like, "Maybe I don't think we're gonna be friends." It turns out we've been like the best of friends, but like that's something I inspire. Like how Josh and I just forgot his name, Jesse, how like they kind of just became best of friends and started a band. That's something I want to do with him.
Well, what had happened was Jesse had gotten married. They had a kid. His wife cheated on him, and they got divorced. And he was just completely down in the dumps. And next thing you know, he buys a guitar, and he writes like 50 songs. And Josh is like, we got to record these. And that's how the first album came about.
And he's just like, they're good songs.
Yeah, he's like, they were better than anything I've ever written. And I'm like, I don't know about that, Josh.
Yeah, I was kind of like...
Have you heard your first 2 albums? Like, seriously.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, the Eagles of Death Metal are just amazing. And because I was still working at the record store when that first album came out, and people were like, well, what's it sound like? I'm like, well, it's kind of like the Eagles of Death Metal.
Oh, yeah, because like in the documentary, they talked about how, I forget who said this, but it was like, you put in the Eagles, but then you put on metal, like heavy stuff, and you just mix that together, Eagles of Death Metal. And that's like literally the definition of the band.
Yeah, they're amazing, dude. I've never had an opportunity to see them. Like me and...
I had a chance, and I didn't push my father enough to take me there.
Jonesy, if you don't take this boy to see Eagles of Death Metal, I will never forgive you.
I will eventually.
Next time they tour. But
Okay.
there was an opportunity I actually had to see them back in 2003. I want to say they were playing the Empty Bottle in the city, and I went with my ex-roommate, and he shows up at my house late. Didn't buy tickets in advance. He's like, oh, no, we're going to be fine. We get to the door, and they're completely sold out. I'm like, you son of a bee. Really?
Like, yeah. Man, that's stupid.
Yeah, well, it is what it is, my friend.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But, so you're playing out a lot. Do you have any gigs coming up? If you guys are, sorry, I'm speaking to the Pop Goulash audience here. If any of you happen to find yourself down in the Dallas area or anywhere near Dallas-Fort Worth, go check out Charlie because you got your Facebook page too, yeah?
Yeah, it's got all the events as such that's happening.
Well, go ahead, man. Plug yourself up. Plug it up.
On Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, you can just search up as Charlie J. Memphis, all one word, no spaces, whatever. And then you can check out my website, which is charliejmemphis.com, and that's got all the events. Well, my website has all the links to the Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And then on Facebook, I have my band page, and then I have my personal, so make sure to like both of those. Follow up on both of those. With my band page, I'll be posting out the events more. I'll be posting out the events more on that one than my personal, and yeah.
So what have you got coming up within the next couple weeks?
I have a show this Wednesday at a food truck.
The date, please.
The date this Wednesday at...
Actually, so the day that this drops, if you are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, go to
the Richardson Food Truck Court, yeah. I should know this, but... I've been.
Hey, you're the artist. Look, the booking. Somebody else handles the booking. The artist just
AKA
worries
my
about
mom
playing.
And Dad.
The artist worries about playing the songs and remembering the chords and the words.
Exactly.
That's why we have management.
It starts about 6:30.
So I don't know if you could hear Jonesy in the background. Apparently, it starts around 6:30.
Yeah.
That is correct. And then the following
Just get on the damn mic.
The following Thursday, the 22nd.
Look, when you look at me and not talk into the mic, people can't hear you. Talk into the mic. You can tell Jonesy has never, spoken into a microphone before.
It is true. I haven't.
Only 2 times.
The following Thursday, the 22nd, he will be in Mount Pleasant at 3rd Street Alley. And there's a few more, but you can just check out his website to get those. Got a lot coming up this summer. Thanks.
All right, now sit down. Drink more whiskey. So yeah, very cool, man. Really, really looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Obviously, I'm not going to be able to make it down, but
yeah. Spiritually, you'll be there.
I will be there in spirit, absolutely. I was going to make some kind of weird church joke, but I'm not going to.
That would have been great. I wouldn't mind. My parents would have. My dad's friends from church would have.
But they're not.
They can't fire him.
You know what though? They don't run this. They don't run this damn podcast, and they can't fire him for something you say or
Good
me.
point.
So, but.
Oh god.
So what else have you been? What else have you been into here recently? Any movies and trying to catch into anything?
Well, movies. We're trying to catch the Wonder Woman movie.
Dude, I have been trying so hard to see that.
Oh my gosh! We had a chance to see it in Michigan, but it's just the whole fact of we're running kind of on our own schedule, kind of like our cousin's schedule and whatnot, and that's kind of it is what it is.
Stupid family. Wish I was alone.
Yeah, but want to see Wonder Woman. I'm trying to think of what other movies that came out. I can't think of any movies, but I've been reading comic books. Wraith. I already told you about that one.
I believe so. Yeah.
And then Snot Girl. Have you heard that one?
I've seen it at the store, and I'm like, really?
I just got it.
What's it about?
Well, it's
God. Finally, we have somebody who I can talk comics with.
It's a girl in underwear that has runny nose.
Not exactly.
Watch the mic, son. Watch the
Sorry.
mic.
But
Did I hear boobs?
But Brian Lee O'Malley, he does like Scott Pilgrim in Seconds and Lost in Sea, which I'm a giant fan of his stuff because Scott Pilgrim that I geeked out all.
Oh yeah.
It was good. But he does the art for that. I forget who does the actual story, but it's about a girl who he's a not fashion designer, but wears the clothes, posts it out, kind of like what do you call it? Fashion blogger. That's her kind of job and such, and she's got disease. Well, not disease. Sorry, that'd be the harsh way of saying it, but. But
this disease brought over here, she does all these blogs about these fashion stuffs. I don't know. It's a good comic book. It's enjoyable. I like it. Shut up.
But she's got allergies with kind of like what I do in the spring when all the pollen and such, and she's got that problem. But daily, every time she goes outside, meets a friend because all her friends are basically fake in a sense, and meets a quote unquote friend that turns out to be psychotic in a sense, kills 2 people, I think, in the first one, and it's that you kind of end off with her killing one of her ex. I forget the exact name, but somebody that used to work with her, and he kind of pushes her off a ledge. I'm not gonna say the whole story. I kind of gave away the ending. Yeah. No, no, no. But there's that, and then I'm trying to think of some others. Like I bought like 3 or 4 other comic books while I was here at the Graham Cracker, but that's.
Have you checked out Paper Girls yet?
I've been meaning to.
Dude, Paper Girls is excellent.
I saw you had one of them, and I was like, man, I gotta get one. I had a chance to get them, but then I was just too intrigued in all the other things I got.
You know, the first they've got a trade paperback out already.
Really?
I think they may even have.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
They may have 2, but it's like. It takes place in Cleveland in like 1985 or something like that,
Really?
and it has like. Shut up!
You guys can go outside if you can't appreciate comics. Just go.
But it's written by Brian K. Vaughan, who's done amazing work with like Why the Last Man and The Immortal Iron Fist.
I think I've heard that last one.
Dude, Why the Last Man's an amazing story just to begin with, but it's him and Cliff Chang does the art for it, and the art is just amazing.
I've like usually what gets me in the comic books first is kind of the art.
Yeah,
I usually enjoy that. Then I get into the story, whether it be cheesy or not. Like it needs to have a good story, like always. But then I always kind of focus on the art first, because that's what usually catches my eye.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the front or any of that, and so I kind of flip through. And it's like the art's great.
Yeah,
like the colors and everything. It's just it's good. It's just. It's that sort of thing where I want to get into it, but I'm afraid if I get into it, it'll keep going, and I'll be like their Batman collection behind me.
Don't knock the Batman collection, son.
Lord of God.
I got about 12 long boxes sitting behind Charlie at the moment, and probably about 2 of them are Batman books.
It's like I'm into Deadpool, but I can't buy any more because the fact is...
Because you ain't got a job, son.
Yes, and there's too many. There are too many. It's like the Batman. Yeah. They're coming out with so many, and then they're coming with the knockoffs like Gwenpool, or then they have the Gwen Duckpool. Or
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
my sister's
I get
getting into Gwenpool. I'm half and half. It's like I think it's a cool idea that they did it because they had like the girl Deadpool, and then they had the kid Deadpool, like
and the dog Deadpool,
and then the head.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they had all those other guys.
You know, Deadpool is the Harley Quinn of Marvel.
Basically.
You know, and actually Gwen Stacy is now slowly becoming the because there's Spider-Gwen as well.
Spider-Gwen. And there's all
Gwenpool.
sorts of Gwens.
Meh, I'm tired of Gwen.
It's
Spider-Gwen, Gwenpool, Gwen Stefani, whatever. I don't care. Shut up, all of them. So, but no, this Paper Girl's like it jumps through time and it's sci-fi and it's
good,
dude. It's dope.
I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, I get the first trade paperback, man. I think it's through Image, so it's only gonna be like $9 for the first trade paperback.
I didn't realize it was through Image.
Yeah, it's an Image book. It's a fantastic book, man.
Like I tried to get my sister into it. She's like, eh. And I was like, okay, I guess out because I don't know what she likes in comics. She reads just a whole bunch of different things. Whatever it's really random. She's
a huge Cyborg fan. I know that much.
Yeah. But yeah. That was
right on, man. So anyway, but no, I'm glad that you were able to come out today. I'm glad because I know you're going home tomorrow on Saturday, which is a couple days, or Sunday, which is a couple days from here. But I'm glad that you guys were able to make it back out, and I got to see you guys again before you got to go
Glad
home.
I could be here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, if anybody out there, like I said, if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and you got an opportunity to go see Charlie, dude, seriously, do yourself the favor and go see him. You want to see a young, up-and-coming artist. It's got a hell of a lot of talent. I'm going to be posting 2 of his songs at the end of this episode, and those songs are?
First song is Better Part of Me, and the second one is Hanging Stars.
So,
unless they go in a different order. So
no,
I don't edit this.
I'll put you're not editing this. I'm editing this, and so I'll put them in that order. But yeah, he recorded those before we went live, and the first one actually is on our Pop Goulash page. We did a Pop Facebook Live, so you can catch.
Oh, yeah.
What was the song you did? I'm sorry.
Better Part of Me.
Better Part of Me. Sorry, I've had a better part of a bottle of whiskey. So
That's been good.
Swiss cheese memories. It's been fantastic. Fortunately, Charlie's not drinking tonight.
Sadly.
I don't serve minors in the Hoodcave.
You know, this podcast would have been better if I was drinking it.
This podcast would not have been better. I have been 16 and drunk, son. It's no good at all. So, but really glad that you were able to make it out today. And I just wish nothing but the best and continued success for you, sir.
Thank you.
And seriously, go check out Charlie's Facebook page. What is it? Facebook.com/CharlieJMemphis?
Yes. No, that's with any like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and then website. Reverb Nation as well.
Reverb Nation is what is Reverb Nation? I'm not familiar.
It's kind of like, how do you explain it? It's
Facebook for bands.
It's Facebook for bands, as the Peanut Gallery says behind us. So, but go check them out. It's definitely worth your while. Like I said, I've got a couple songs, or I don't have the songs. I didn't write them. I didn't perform them. But they are Charlie J. Memphis original tunes, because he does a lot of covers as well. Does some decent Johnny Cash. I got yelled at because I didn't know a freaking Willie Nelson song. But he does a song, Willie Nelson song called Whiskey River, that I didn't realize was a Willie Nelson song, because he's got 5,000 freaking songs. But yeah, he does a lot of covers and stuff, but I'm not paying royalties, so we're gonna I'm gonna post 2 of his originals on this afterwards, and I'll give him like a can of Coca-Cola out the door for royalties for his way home.
Fair.
But seriously, thank you guys for coming out. Thanks to your folks for dragging them out here tonight. And for Pop Goulash, I'm Ruben,
And I'm Charlie J. Memphis.
Be good to each other. That's your first podcast in Japan.
Well, the devil's got a part of me, and this me. Ah, don't you see? Thank you for trying to cheer me up, but this is my hand, and you know when. Now he's got me on his tight leash, cutting me with his thorns, taking me on a dark path, going he knows where. He has fettered my tongue, control my heart of truth, restrained is my will, and all of me is left to dispute. Well, the devil's got a part of me, and this me. Oh, don't you see? Thank you for trying to cheer me up, but this is my hand, and you know when. Now I'm diving into his unjust will, with a little hope of coming back. Trust me, I hate this, and I'll live to regret it. I've been doing it for too long. Too long. Stop now. Oh, I have chosen the easy way out. Well, the devil's got a hold of me, and this me. Oh, don't you see? Thank you for trying to cheer me up, but this is my hand, and you know. choices I've made. Your sky might be cloudy, but mine is full of rain. This path of bad decisions, they've left me at loss. The way to return was easy. Well, the devil got a hold of this man. Oh, don't say. Thank you for trying to cheer me up, but this is my hand, and you know when. Well, the devil's got a hold of this man. Don't you say? Thank you for trying to cheer me up, but this is my hand, and well, the devil's got a hold of me and this man. Oh, don't you see? Thank you for trying to cheer me up, but this is my hand, and you know when it is the end. I don't see things like they truly are. Look up to see the stars hang from a black ceiling. I live my life with weary eyes, but that's okay, 'cause I can feel once again. The rabbit suffocates in the moon while we're stargazing. We can't hear its cries 'cause the moon's too irritating. Look up to see the stars hang from a black ceiling. But that's okay, 'cause I can feel. We swim in the graves of millions, but we don't realize we should enjoy the sun before it burns us alive. I live my life with weary eyes, but that's okay, 'cause I can feel once again. Look up to see the stars hang from a black ceiling, but all we do is love with stars in our